You're listening to the Squeaver Squad podcast with your hosts, Yes Sir, Jungle Pork, Mathin, and Baby Corns.
What's up, everybody? It's me.
So we had some, pretty decent updates in some of the games that we're playing. We got like an H1 update this week that includes some kill cams and stuff like that, which you can tell, PlayerUnknown's kind of giving them some pressure now. And then we got some brand new Overwatch stuff, new game mode, and some backstory for some of the characters, some new outfits. One of my favorite things about the new H1 update is the fact that they added different colors for everyone's silhouette, so you can see who's who by their colors. It's also very Power Rangers-y of them to do that.
Yeah, I was getting comfortable with you being pink or me being red or something, and then it would be a new game and you'd be a different color, and I would run to you thinking it was you because of the color, but it wasn't.
Right.
That was confusing. But I like that. I like the new UI.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the new UI is really good.
yeah. I don't know if I noticed anything that I didn't like or any bugs. I'm not really sure I picked up anything.
I didn't. I personally don't like the new hit marker that you get whenever you hit something and it shoots out a red color or whatever the color is, and it's like a big spread.
Yeah.
It's kind of distracting to me. I like the different colors for different hits now, but I don't like the triangular crosshair explosion that happens.
I agree.
Just because it's a little distracting. But I kind of wish that they kept the old little X that was tiny, but they just had it change colors they have now, where it's yellow is armor and red is body hit and stuff. Yeah, everything else is pretty good change.
It feels a little distracting with the armors exploding now, but then I think it's also visually helpful because when you pop people's chest plates and stuff.
I like that you can see what your teammates have, if they have anything equipped or not, and their weapon. It's nice to see that finally.
Yeah, it's cool that you can see what armor they have, if they have a helmet and a bulletproof vest, and then what weapon they're using. That's definitely a great addition.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all in all it was a pretty good update. I really enjoyed playing it.
It's still definitely, the game itself is more stable, at least for me, than PlayerUnknown. I tried to go in PlayerUnknown again, but it's just really hard on my computer. I don't know, I feel like that was pretty good for H1. We'll have to see what they'll probably be trying to do something next. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could actually take a peek at the H1 Steam charts right now and see if it's changed today. I know it's been recent. I don't know how quickly those update, but maybe they'll have update. I'm pretty sure they update daily. So between I would say from February to March, the game went from 41,000 players on average to 62,000, and then in the last 30 days, it has 66,000 players on average.
Thanks.
Wow.
66,900. So pretty much 67,000 players on average, which is pretty crazy. I think it's one of the most played. It's up there in the top echelon of Steam games.
And then also they have the you can choose your server region, but I don't know how much or what that even really does, because I feel like there's still people from all over the world in there.
Yeah, I don't really. I was just thinking about that. Well, we have I feel like there are a lot of people from different parts of the world in our server, but you can choose the server you go in, right?
Yeah.
So I think what he's saying is what is the difference if they go into a server we can go into? Is it still the same amount of lag if they were to go into a server that's based where they're from?
Oh no. So what I assume the way it works, and this is how Path of Exile works, because it has the same thing. When you get to the main menu of Path of Exile, you pick your region, and if you're playing by yourself, that's the region that you're playing in. But as soon as you party with someone, whatever their region is, if you're the leader or they're the leader, that becomes the region that you're shooting into. So I would assume that whenever we go to party to play, whoever the party leader is, like say you were, I'm pretty sure you were Baby Corns last time we played, that you're hosting the party. So whatever your region is, that's the region we're shooting into. And I think that was the case because I had like 90, like between 90 and 100 ping when we played, the times we played, and that was around the same ping I played before, and we were playing West Coast. And then I went and played, I've played solo since then, and I was getting like 30 or 20 ping. I was getting like super low ping by myself, so I'm assuming that's just how it works in terms of getting you into your area or, you know, wherever the server's located.
That makes a lot more sense then. So, Overwatch, take it away.
I played Overwatch quite a bit in the past couple of days, and I have to say, skin-wise, I think they did good. I like the skins.
Yeah, I definitely like the skins.
I bought the McCree skin, and I bought the Soldier push-ups, and I opened a crate and got the Torbjorn skin. So yeah, I think the skins were. I think Tracer got the best skin. I think her skin's really cool.
It was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wasn't really excited about these skins, but
well, these skins are a little more like kind of serious. I feel like they're a little more like, which, you know, it like that's gonna be real cool for a lot of people, and then other people are gonna be like, you know, I want the wonky like crazy skins and stuff. Which I feel like Halloween was really good for that. Halloween had like some of the most like wacky like cool skins. You know, for the most part. And then even the Year of the Rooster event, that one had some pretty wonky, weird skins as well. So, I mean, what was it, the Roadhog pig skin or whatever? Like, that was pretty, I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, I think skins are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just holding out for a black-haired Mercy, and I feel I'm never going to get it, so I'm just, I'm a little bitter every time I see the new releases, and it never happens.
She did have like a new hairstyle for this one. I'm pretty sure, right?
It was very like
kind of like
60s.
a 60s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. That's the first thing I said too when I saw it. I was like, wow, that's like really old like style. I
do like that skin. Like, and I like the Torbjorn ones too. I just, it was just a little boring to me. Just because
they could be bland.
And,
I can definitely see the bland in them because they're not really like, they're just real simple and sleek and like, and that's refreshing to me because I always wanted the McCree one is like pretty simple, like it's just all black, there's nothing crazy going on there.
The Genji one was really cool.
The Genji one is
cool.
Yeah, that one's like
they
real
would be fun
unique.
to win or fun to get in a box. I don't think I would pay for them or like pay to win them.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I think the new game mode is I've probably played like 10 of those, and I've tried it on all difficulties, and I like that. I'm curious what they're doing with it, because I wonder if they're like this is like an experiment or a test to see like how people like it and how it works, because I mean it's obviously it can get boring. Like it got boring after like 10 times, cramming it. I've seen everything. I've done all this stuff, so it did get kind of boring. But I wonder if they have plans of like implementing that on like all the maps or something, along those lines.
One thing that I think is also really cool about the way they did it too is like, you can have like other games where they like add game modes. Like you could have like GTA Online or something. They add like a racing mode, or they add some sort of extra mode to the game. It's just sort of like in some ways it doesn't necessarily have to be about how the story's told that gives it additional content. In fact, in a lot of ways, like in Overwatch, if you added additional game modes, because the game is such a PvP game and not really like a co-op or single player story driven game, a lot of the game modes kind of get overshadowed by the fact of, that it's more about the gameplay of the game mode versus like the story that it's trying to tell. And one of the things that's, I think, kind of interesting about this is that they built it up with having the comic come out and then having that tie into like this idea that this is the first mission that Tracer's been on, and this is a part of the history of all the characters too. So like, they're wearing these outfits that you can unlock because like this is the the original Overwatch uniform or whatever, and this is how Overwatch operated in the world where Overwatch existed as an organization, as opposed to like the world that exists in now. So I think it's a cool way to like expand the universe and tell backstories and stories while including new game modes and new skins and like new content in the game, and then like being able to integrate it in a way that it allows it to exist as a game mode and as a storytelling opportunity.
Yeah, I think they did it really nice. I do think it could get repetitive. I only played it twice, though. I think it's still a little fresh for me, but I think I would like them to do more things like that. Kind of do a new game mode and a skin release, or just any kind of release, could be emotes, whatever, just to keep it fresh, because I know every time they add in something, just an influx of people start playing again, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then who knows? I mean, they could also eventually add a game mode that's like, that's the thing that is suddenly the new reason why people even play Overwatch.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of wiggle room to like pick different game modes to play, because there's so much out there. There's kind of infinite possibilities. And it would be cool, maybe they'll look at the custom matches and kind of see a really fun game mode they didn't think of, and kind of, adopt different ideas that players are making.
Yeah, the custom game modes remind me of like when games open up support for modders, and that's always the best idea in my opinion, because people can mod things into the game, like Divinity 2 or Divinity Original Sin 2 is going to be coming out late this year, I think. Yeah, sometime this year. They haven't like put a date, but it's an RPG that I really like. I played the first one. It's like real co-op-y. There's no PvP at all. Nothing like that. It's just full on RPG. It's a game you play with your friends. And that game, the first game, they didn't open up support. They like didn't really. It wasn't the forefront of their thing. But now, for the second version, they've raised like $2 million on Kickstarter for it, for a bunch of new features and stuff. But they've also like even said like, hey, like we're gonna really make it easy to mod this game and like do all that stuff. And it's almost like you're hiring thousands of people as soon as you open up your game for absolutely. Mod support. Because I feel like they're gonna make the changes and fixes for your game, and you can like these companies can contact them and say like, hey, we're gonna incorporate this into like a patch, into like a big major patch for our game, and you can like just give them money and or give them something in return for them coming up with this. Because I know Stellaris is a game that I played that did that, where some modder like really went through and just fixed like a vast majority of the bugs and like issues in the game, and they contacted them and they gave them like a flat amount of money for it, and they also gave him like a bunch of other goodies and like sent him like stuff from the studio and all kinds of stuff, and then used his mod changes for just, and that's like that gives them room to develop content while people fix bugs.
I mean, not only that, you have to look at so many of the biggest games that are out now were literally mods for a game that came out that was offered a modding, League of Legends or Dota 2 or any game that's in that form. Yeah, Counter-Strike, a mod. I mean, there's so many Half-Life mods that did, super successful and spawned off like either small games or bigger ideas.
StarCraft, also technically a mod.
Yeah, the ability to do that. I mean, I feel like that's what drives a game like Skyrim too. It's like it has a huge player base that's very interested in playing the RPG elements of the game and playing through the game, but then that game lives on through its modding. I mean, even GTA to some degree. I mean, people love trying to push the graphics in GTA by modding it as far as they can.
It was fun playing the PvE mode. It really tested your organization skills and teamwork and HEOS.
We were definitely doing well on Legendary.
Yeah, it was easy mode, man. Right, baby cards.
Let's move. Let's switch topics. Switch gears here.
I feel like I didn't read the chapter this week. I just got called out.
Well, the only other big game thing that was announced this week that I'm at least quite excited for is that on the 18th we will be getting the first DLC for Wildlands, being the Narco Roads expansion. Granted, a lot of people who are into the game on Reddit like really hate the idea of driving cars around, but I don't care. More content's more content. It should be at least somewhat entertaining.
Is it free?
I'm not sure how it works. I don't think it's quite free.
Well, Well, that should be interesting.
They do have driving monster trucks up very steep hills, so that looks pretty fun.
I watched a video about a game called To Catch a Lover. Imagine Dead by Daylight instead of the butcher guy. It's a police officer who comes home and has to find the lover, the person his wife is cheating on him with.
Oh
and so the people being chased are the wife, who can like distract the police officer, a dog that can like vomit and pee on the ground, the lover who could fucking like jump over everything, and I forgot what the fourth character.
The police officer.
The police officer. Yeah, is the guy chasing. Yeah, that's pretty fun.
And I saw that too, and I'm not sure how the teams. Like, I'm not sure what role the dog plays. Who the dog's protecting? The lover and the wife are working together, I would assume.
Yeah.
And the officer is kind of his own thing. I want to say the dog is like a for his own self kind of thing. Like maybe the dog's just trying to like throw a wrench in all the bullshit, and
he's a hee-haw.
But I do remember seeing a part where the cop was chasing the lover, and they were like running through the house, and they were running through a bunch of doors, and they got to a door, and the lover kept closing the door in front. Like he ran through the door. The woman that he was chasing, or the woman that the lover was running with, they were both on one side of the door. The cop was on the other side of the door, and they kept the cop would open it, and then the lover would close it, and it just open, close, open, close, open, close. And then I think the dog went and shoved itself in between the door, and the cop punched the lover in the face and won the game or something along those lines. And it was like pretty funny to watch, but it looked pretty hee-haw as well.
I played a bunch of Overwatch with you guys. We played the PvE mode.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd use the term play, but we did something.
Watched a bunch of Overwatch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we logged in. So we're just going to share something interesting we read either in the news or maybe that we heard on TV that is actually a current event or something that did happen, and we thought it was kind of interesting. We want to share it with each other.
Oh yeah, this guy, he admitted to killing his mother, and when police searched his home, they found dismembered parts of her body in the freezer, in like a standalone freezer in his living room. And I knew the guy. A year ago, we worked on a project together, and it was really unexpected because he was a pretty normal guy, had a girlfriend, did like extracurriculars and everything.
So it caught you off when you heard this. You didn't think like, oh, this guy, that makes sense. It was like kind of out of the ordinary for this kind of person.
Yeah. Because the last time I heard of him was last year. He moved back to China at the end of the semester, or before the end of the semester, actually.
And he came back to kill his mom, or we don't know.
I don't know.
That's just, I don't know. It's one thing to kill someone, but it's another thing to like dismember them, store them in your house. It's just, I don't know, the thought process. Yeah,
it's one thing to be really mad, that. For me, it either comes down to two things. For me, it either comes down to like years of like something that is like you consider abusive, like you've been abused for just such a long period to where you have so much disdain for someone that you get like some kind of like satisfaction or like justice out of doing those things to them, or it's like there's something wrong with them. There's something like they could have done this to anyone. Like it's just something where it's like they at the end I think it's something that's like what's the word, it like satisfies some kind of like hunger or some kind of like something where they get like pleasure out of it in some way. It's like it's either something like that's like mentally wrong with them, or it's something that they consider like they've had to deal with for a long time, and it's just some kind of satisfaction.
Yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, you hear stories all the time of like, oh, this person was normal, they were nice, I don't understand, and then something just happens where they do something so awful. It just makes you wonder, like, are you capable of that? Sometimes I wonder, like, if these people are normal and they seem, fine.
Well, I mean, what's hilarious is like that literally the guy that's killing people today in Cleveland, the guy that's killing, he says he's killed 12 to 15 people. I've already confirmed that he's killed like several people. The guy that's going around killing everyone in Cleveland. I mean, I told you guys about it earlier, but
Why don't you reiterate? real quick.
Yeah, so there's a guy in Cleveland that's going around, like, not right now, but he did it today, and there's a manhunt happening. Apparently he left the state, all this stuff, where he's going up to people on the street. He has a gun. He just kills them. You know, he starts a conversation with them, then pulls the gun out of a bag or a pocket or something, and he kills them. And he's just doing this to random people. And you would think, like, you know, because you hear about this stuff, you think it's just for a random reason, but apparently there's a catalyst to it, and the catalyst is his girlfriend, who apparently, I was reading around a little bit after as well, and apparently his girlfriend had cheated on him at some point, and that was a catalyst to him doing this.
So that's what made him essentially go around and kill random people he didn't know.
Yes, and I think it's more of a matter of, like, this is his way of either venting anger, which makes no sense to me, or a way of just, like, self-suicide, you know, like, he's throwing his life away. It's just a way of, like, stomping his feet in the dirt. Like, I'm mad, look at me, I'm mad, kind of thing. And it's real sad because it's obviously the most inhumane, probably the stupidest thing I've heard. There's really no explanation for it at all, because, you know, you're killing innocent people who are just going about their thing.
I almost wonder if he does this to, like, make her live with this.
Yeah.
But even then, at what price to him, you know? It's like... Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like emotions are running high. It's almost... It feels like it's just an emotional response. It's like something... It's not a logical response at all. And it's like, obviously there's no thinking in the future because, like, you're just throwing your life away. Like, that's it. You're done. Yeah. And... You know, he was making posts on Facebook saying, like, I won't be coming in work tomorrow, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff. And I always just feel like people, like, these type of people, it'll, like, beforehand, they're, like, sure of what they're doing and in control and blah, 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 blah. But then when it comes court dates and you see them in, like, the news and stuff after, they're, like, emotional wrecks and they're like, I'm just sorry for what I did. And I always think that's so bullshit, and it pisses me off when I hear people say, I'm sorry for what I did. You know, you obviously are not sorry at all for what you did because you were in clear enough mind to make posts. Like, especially these people who make Facebook posts and stuff, like, you were able to make these posts saying that, like, you know, this person made me do it and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, afterwards you have decided all of a sudden that you're sorry and that, you know, all this stuff. I think it's bullshit. And I think those are people who, like, they give people with serious mental issues, like, a bad rep because I feel like there's a lot of people who do have, like, actual psychotic issues where it's not something where they're completely aware of themselves. Yeah, they're not conscious of it. And then you have other people who just have really bad emotional responses. Like, they don't make the right decision, and then they put it off as, like, something else instead of just being, you know, an idiot.
You're right, though. It does give people that do have actual mental illnesses a bad rap because I think I heard on TV or something that this man killed his mom, and, you know, he's being charged for whatever, but he's also, like, his lawyer's fighting to get her inheritance to him. Because he pleaded, I guess, I don't know if he pleaded insane or what, but something along those lines, like, he'd mean it.
Some mental illness or something.
Oopsies. And he may be getting her money. And people are just like, this is fucked up. And it is, just hearing it, it's fucked up. You don't know if it's true or if it's not, but, you know, the fact that you have to sit there and kind of think
about it, yes.
Yeah, or even you have to really just, like, kind of gauge and make up your opinion on it. It's just such a blurred line for mental illness, mental disability, any of those things. Like, it's such a blurred line, and it's unfair for a lot of people who really do go through those troubling things. But how do you know? You can't get in someone's brain and really figure that out. And that's what's so difficult about this. And I don't know, it's confusing to me because I don't even know what to feel about that. Like, I don't even know where to begin to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a real touchy subject that it shouldn't be a touchy subject. It really should be black and white. It shouldn't be, there should be no in between. It should be, you know, I mean, if you're doing stuff like that, it should be, they actually are, like, there's something mentally wrong with them and they should be treated accordingly, however you would treat someone who has a mental illness. And then it should be if they're not, if they're just, you know, actual fucking shitheads who
but I wonder, is that
just
arguable?
decided to.
If you are a shithead and you're capable of murder and, like, doing those things, doesn't that qualify you?
Some kind of form
You know,
qualify
like,
as a mental
that's
illness.
what I'm saying. It feels so broad to me and so confusing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're capable to take someone else's life, you have something. I don't think that's
Yeah.
a normal thing to do. I don't know though.
Well, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of it could be. Maybe I'm actually like really wrong in that it being black and white. I think my thinking is in a perfect world, it would be black and white.
Yeah.
But it's not a perfect world.
Where you can
is the
tell
problem.
who's being genuine and who is trying to
For-
get away with something.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. So I think that your thinking is more like realistic in that like it's never going to be like that. And I think, like, I mean, at the core of thinking about it, I mean, murder, it's not like murder has been forever frowned upon, like
Yeah.
murder once upon a time was an individual like disagreement. If two people disagreed and one person murdered the other one, then that was it. They had a disagreement, one person killed the other person, that was that. And it wasn't like frowned upon, like people would have disagreements, they wouldn't like each other, they'd duel each other, one person would die, and that would be it.
Or that's just how you protected yourself. Like,
Yeah.
someone's getting too close to you, that's what you would do, and it would just be a normal reaction.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Be in
just
their
kind of
blood.
weird.
Could be.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, you could. Yeah, that's one thing too. I feel like you could argue that like it's just a human. It's like a human trait. It's something that's like genetic. It's something that we haven't like. Maybe some people are born with a more animalistic like viewpoint on life, and they murder to them is not like crazy.
They don't feel anything emotional over it.
Yeah, they don't have the Whereas other people are like. I will never kill someone, like even if my life is in danger, I would never, like I would just die, I'm sure there's people like that. And it's kind of weird how I could never say how I would be because I've never been in a scenario like that. I don't know how I would react or how I would deal with this situation. Like I can sit here and say I would do this and that. Like I don't even know if like I don't think anyone knows that I've never had something emotionally push me to the point to where I just say fuck it and go kill people. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a tick if there's
it's
just
deep
that one
inside
thing.
you. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I'm like when you think about it, like, oh, this guy's normal, blah blah blah. Like maybe I'm capable of that. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's kind of spooky because
It is.
that you don't know yourself that well, that you don't know that one day something like that was it, that pushed me to do it, that made me do what I would never do. That's kind of a spooky thought.
You gotta look at it when you do it the first time. Like say your first paper airplane, you do it the first time, you can do it over and over again. So that's like the mentality. Like once you get a taste for it, kill one man, kill 10. It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
damage is done pretty much. I think too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, I'd imagine it gets, almost easier as it goes on. You're just like, well, you can suppress the
more racking them
feeling
up.
more.
Yeah, it's definitely like. I mean, that's a big case for pretty much anything. It's the first time is always scary, but then after that, it's like it's just a cakewalk, like
What
it's
do you have
normal
to lose
business.
at that point, I think, is what it
Yeah.
is. Like, especially with this guy you're talking about in that news story. Like, he's probably just like, well, I did it. Fuck it. I'll keep going.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of his posts. Like, I think his third or fourth post, he said, it's too late. I'm already in deep.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I'm pretty sure that's like the quote, as I'm already in too deep. It's like, that's like that. And that's an unfortunate scenario because when you think like, well, I'm already in too deep. It doesn't matter now if I keep killing people. Like, that's a sad thought because, you think like at that point they could just literally kill as many people or do, crazy stuff like that. And they're not even thinking like, man, I'm taking people's lives. Like I'm ending someone's life, they're not even thinking that anymore. And that's like real sad because that's the first thing I think of if I ever thought of something like that. It's like, I know like my thinking right now is that like, I don't think I would be able to like deal with the fact that I just ended someone's life, that it just took away something like that. But like we were saying at the beginning, who knows? Like if each person has a tick, like if each person just has that thing that could just, fuck it, like set them off, like push them to the point to where they just do it, and then it's like, well, I'm in too deep.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, if not yourself, someone
Yeah.
a family member, a friend, you don't know what will set people off. and take him to that
Yeah,
place.
it's even weirder for family stuff. Like a kid coming home and killing their parents or killing, that's real terrifying stuff. That's the worst of the worst because, family is supposed to be the one bridge between like relationships. It's supposed to be like that unbreaking bridge where like, especially immediate family, like extended family is like something entirely different, but immediate family is supposed to be like that one bridge. But, as like, especially now, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, this could be totally wrong. It could have always been like this, but I feel like now there's like people are really getting in the mentality, like there's this phrase going around where it's like, and I semi agree with it, but at the same time it's kind of a spooky thing to say, but like, someone who you've just met can have better intentions for you than someone you've known your entire life. So like obviously like a family member, like you could meet a stranger today who has better intentions for you than your mother of 20 years.
I think that's highly applicable to a lot of family situations where like someone is abusive in the
abuse
family.
For sure,
or just is distant, or like deadbeat father or mom who doesn't come around, or they're a drug abuser or whatever, something that causes a rift between relatives. Like I feel like that is kind of the gateway to something a little spooky.
Yeah,
but it's true. I mean, I don't know, I always feel so different about family versus friends anyways, because you're born into your family and blood relatives, whatever, but I couldn't feel any further away from my distant relatives. We don't talk, there's no communication there, so I would totally see that a stranger might have better intentions for me than them, and I would totally believe that. I can see that being true.
Yeah, there's the whole family thing. Me growing up specifically, I always was under the impression that like family wise everything always worked out and blah blah blah, but I wouldn't say like, well, not super recently, probably like a year or two ago, my dad's brother, like they got into like a pretty big argument that was like it's been spanning for like 20 something years. Like they semi hated each other when they were younger, and I mean they were brothers obviously, and they had like problems and stuff, and then it like all came out at once one time, and it was like a big fiasco and blah blah. So now they haven't spoken in like however many years since it happened, like haven't spoken a word. And it's that's just like, that's where the whole thing, like family for me is like, family is like a precious thing, but at the same time anything is like non-valuable. When you guys can be brothers and you can have not necessarily like huge issues, or just be in contact for years and years and do things and blah, 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 and then one instance you guys never speak again. That's a pretty crazy thing.
I think family can have good intentions for you, wholeheartedly. But I think also that can be kind of case by case, because, there are people that you may know, like you grew up with like a cousin forever and you guys are close, or, you got on well, and then you win the lottery and then they change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I feel like it can be case by case like that, which also that's sad. I mean, that's when people know, okay, this is more important to you now than our relationship. Yeah. And that might have been the case. Like they could have been, you could have been closer with them when you were younger, and then you guys grow apart and grow up, and things change.
Yeah, basically, in conclusion, no one.
And you don't know yourself.
Yeah, you don't know yourself. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust yourself.
Yeah, anything can happen. I guess life is.
Keep yourself, just sit in a padded room just to make sure you don't go crazy.
Life's an adventure. Derek, did you have a story you want to...
We watched that giraffe give birth.
April?
Oh, April?
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
We're on a first name basis, so...
Yeah.
And how she had, what was it, like a year or something that she was pregnant?
Over a year. I think it was like 14 months.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy.
Is that a normal giraffe pregnancy?
I think for giraffes, it's about a year, but she went over a few months, and that's why I was like, when are you going to squeeze it out?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Kat messaged me before she went to New Zealand on vacation like a while ago that April, well, she didn't call it April, she just called it the giraffe at that point, was pregnant and was going to have a kid. And this was before she went to New Zealand. And then she went on, like, she was watching April, and she's like waiting for it to have her kid. And then she was like, the day of going to New Zealand, she's like, I hope she has her goddamn kid today. Like, she wanted, And then she's on her trip the whole time, and she was forcing me to, like, notify her of everything that was happening. So I had this fucking giraffe on my other monitor every day. Like, it was just up while I was doing other things, and just keeping tabs. And it just went on and on and on. And I was just like, Cat, I'm not fucking watching this giraffe anymore. I've watched it for like the past 4 days. She's never having her fucking baby. It's not gonna happen. Like, just whatever. Cat came back and she messaged me. She's like, April still hasn't had her fucking baby. And it was like, even I was like, what the hell, because I remember tuning in like 3 weeks before she actually had her kid. They were like, the baby is expected today. Vets are saying that she's looking good, that she's showing signs of, having her and stuff. And then 3 weeks later, she finally has it. So it's like,
oh, April.
Yeah, I didn't know that that giraffe's pregnancy lasted, so long though. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Was the giraffe's name April before April?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no clue.
I'm wondering if that name was actually a foreshadowing of when she was going to give birth, or...
Well, if
Just wait.
I hope that it's actually it was given to her now and not before, because that'd be some real
I kind of
fucking
hope that
voodoo
it was
bullshit.
hers. I hope that was her name, and she's just the most vain,
Yeah, she
self-centered
just
giraffe.
waited. She just prolonged it. She's
"Fuck
like,
you guys.
she's
I'm
fucking
doing this."
Keegling every day. She's
Yeah.
holding that bitch in.
I want to go with that story more than anything, I think.
It started coming out. She's like leaning. She's like pushing it back in. No, it's not April. 3 days, bitch.
That's my favorite story of all the stories.
I feel like none of us are really Easter-y people. So,
Did you get any candy today?
I got a couple Reese's eggs and some Dove candy.
I didn't get anything. Did you guys get anything?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a big fucking every year family get together at our house, and there's like literally like 20 fucking like plastic containers of food out there, and I have like a massive box of candy and random shit that was given, and giant fucking chocolate Easter bunny, which I say every year. I'm like, don't get this. I'm like, please, because I'm not a fan of the giant chocolate Easter bunny. I just feel like it's like, I don't know, it's too much. It's too much fucking chocolate. I feel like I got to eat it in one go, which is the most unhealthy thing you could ever do. But as much as I'm not a religious guy, I didn't even know that holidays were tied to religion, like Christmas, for instance, and Easter. I had no clue they were tied to religion until I was like 18 or something, because it's not a part of our family in terms of that. Like, my parents are lazy Baptists. Like, they believe in God, they believe in all this stuff, but they don't go to church ever. They've never been to church. My grandparents used to go to church when they were younger, but then they slowly became lazy Baptists, and that's how my parents became lazy Baptists.
But you guys
And
celebrate
then-
the holidays just for hee-haws.
Yeah, holidays for holidays, not for religion at all. Like, there's no, That's why before, when you were like, you don't seem like the type that would, like, because of the religion stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, no, I don't equate God to getting gifts on Christmas, which is the worst. Like,
Right.
because the whole fucking point of the holiday was like, it's religion based, but it's just for the hee-haws for sure. My parents used it as an excuse to get together to like see each other.
I
Like,
feel like that's not a bad thing anyway. Like,
no,
hang out
it's
together.
not. It's not. Like, it's definitely not a bad thing. I would never be like,
I wish we did. I wish
fuck
my
you
family
guys.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any cause for like everyone to get together and have a lot of food, like that sounds exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it has its like, honestly, myself, I wish we didn't. It's just like one of those things where it's like, when you don't have it, you wish you had it. When you have it, you wish you didn't have it. And it's like, we've had years where we didn't have it, and we've had years where we had it. So I've kind of seen both sides of them, and I definitely prefer having close-knit gatherings, like with just the family. Like Christmas, I like to celebrate with my immediate family. Holidays in general, I like to celebrate with my immediate families. Like, if I want to go see my grandmother or like anyone else, I'll just drive to their house. I'll just go see them. I'll call them up and say like, hey, let's blah, blah, blah. But I really hate forced holidays where we have to meet because it's like, I don't know. It just seems really like it's less meaningful for me, for at least for our holidays that I've experienced. Like the holidays tend to have less meaning than, it just like everyone gets together and it's a real big gloat fest. It's like so many people are together in the family, and like, I mean, I guess if you like, our family's just real big on outdoing each other. Like everyone's trying to be like, I'm the most successful, I'm the best, I'm the blah, so it's like, it just turns into a shit fest. And it happens every year. But like, I guess if you didn't have that experience, then it'd be amazing. But that's why I prefer, like, personally, I just wish that we didn't that it just kept immediate family, because, then it's nice.
I feel like I've heard that as a common thing between, families who get together for holidays. It's like catching up with each other and gloating, essentially. Or,
Yeah. I mean, it's even, like, it gets sad. It's even, like, the saddest things, like, for Thanksgiving, like, the other, like, one of the years, there was a huge fucking debacle over, like, nobody made stuffing for the turkey. And, like, it turned into such a serious matter, and people were screaming at each other, and, like, people were leaving early. I left. Like, I was at, like, it was being held at our grandma's. The argument, it was so cringe to me, and it was such a long, like, people were yelling at each other. Like, we were all in the living room. I just got up and said, I just went and, like, hugged and kissed my grandma, and I was like, all right, I'll see you guys later. And they were like, we haven't even ate yet. And I was like, I don't have an appetite anymore. I just left, because it was like, I don't know, it was too much. Like, it's just way awkward, and, like, people were saying, like, well, this is real normal of you to do this. Like, you've always been a fuck up your whole life. And I'm just like, oh my God. I just get up and leave. Like, I can't deal with it. Like,
Yeah. That's hostile.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you don't live in a psychotic family that's like, like that, then I'd love it. It'd be great. But, it can be a blessing or a curse.
Yeah. I think if I ever do go down the path of having my own family, I would probably do a lot of close-knit things and celebrate every holiday imaginable and just have fun with it and not make it such a high-pressure,
spectacle.
High stakes, something so crazy.
Yeah, the spectacles, that's just especially holidays in general. Like, there's so much pressure. It's like a one-time thing. It's, oh my God, we got to get it right. Everything's got to be good and perfect.
Yeah,
it's like
one day, because it's one day, you have to kind of make
there's
everything
so much
perfect.
less pressure when you're with your immediate family and you're just doing stuff together, and someone doesn't fucking we forgot champagne. It's like, you know what?
Who cares? Yeah.
Whatever. Like, there's five of us. Like, not a big deal. If there's like 50 people or like 20 people and something's forgotten, then everyone wants to fucking chime in on how dumb we are, and it's just.
We didn't ever do anything in my family for Easter. Well, like, maybe when I was younger, we would have, my mom would kind of go along with, oh yeah, there's a rabbit and he does things, and kind of play off that because we were young. But I mean, that was fun. I mean, it's kind of sad when that stuff goes away, but that's when you start doing your own things. But I think my favorite candy, which I would still get like as an older human being, would be those little chocolate bird nests that were like coconut. And they had jelly beans in the middle.
What the fuck?
Have you never heard of those?
I've never heard of this.
It's like it looks like a bird nest. It's a coconut covered in chocolate, so it looks like all stringy and like twig-like, and then it has like 3 jelly beans or 2 jelly beans in the middle. It's just simple things in life that.
I mean, that sounds fucking chaotic as shit, and I'm kind of down, to be honest.
But I didn't have any, like, I honestly don't remember any other candy. Like, that I bought on my own accord. When I was younger, it would be the standard chocolate bunny. But I knew people who would get, like, the Easter grass that was edible and, like, all this, like, all these things I never heard of. Yeah, I would never.
I still have never heard of that until now.
Yeah, no, like, and especially when you go to the store or the drugstore and see those aisles of, like, huge wrapped baskets with toys and stuff, and I never got any of those. I always wanted one. Even though it was, like, the dollar toys that were, like, shit. And had, like, 2 pieces of candy in it. Like, I always thought those were so cool, but I never got one. But I feel like I would usually answer the candy question with, like, Reese's egg, but it's literally just a Reese's cup, so I think I was copying out. So I just wanted to say that I liked the bird's nest because those are seasonal.
Yeah, they're unique. They sound really out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
which would always be a good choice
But the
for.
grass I want
Easter
to
stuff.
try. That was like I don't even know what it's made out of. Did you ever have the grass, Derek? Oh, and I never had those eggs, the Cadbury.
I think I've only had those like once or twice.
They kind of grossed me out because I thought it was like a real, I don't know, like it tasted like a real egg inside or something. I didn't really understand what those were.
I'd have to say my favorite candy that I get during Easter, and I wouldn't say these are seasonal because you can get them anytime, but Russell Stover's chocolate marshmallows. They're usually like
Oh, okay.
done up in like Easter wrapping and stuff, but I don't know, like for some reason right around Easter time I get those bunch. Like I'll see them and I'll see like the chocolate covered marshmallow stuff, and that's just irresistible to like I don't know why, but for some reason that's just like my go-to. Like I can just down those things.
I've never been a marshmallow person. Like I like them, but I've never, gravitated towards the marshmallow candy.
I don't know if you've ever seen those, but those are yeah. Those are like marshmallow covered eggs.
Oh my god.
And they come in the little egg carton thing, and I would get those when I was younger, and that like those were like an instant like Easter reminder. Like as soon as I see those, I'm like Easter. It's like Easter time because that's like my candy that I would equate.
Yeah, I just thought those had cool packaging. That's my nest, by the way.
Oh my gosh, those are crazy. Oh, Russell Stover does those.
Yeah, it's like one of those 25-cent candies or whatever that they bring out for the holidays.
Yeah, exclusive. You'll never see it again until next year.
Right, and then they just like make it something Halloween-y, but like the same thing.
Yeah.
Scarecrow. Maybe.
Now it's got candy corn in the middle.
Right. Oh, Russell. I wonder what his net worth.
Russell Stover, yeah.
Because that's a doozy.
Yeah, it is. That's gonna enlighten. Like he's gonna be like, I was watching a really obscure podcast the other day about these people talking about all these companies that have subsidiaries that people didn't know, and I just want to bring to light the Illuminati that's happening right now. Russell Stover's parent organization is Lindt and Sprungli.
Are you kidding? I don't
which is
even
a Switzerland, which makes sense because Switzerland is like the capital of chocolate.
Swiss chocolatier. Lindt is like the best ever. So that's funny that they own Russell Stover.
Yeah.
God damn.
I mean, I've always wanted to visit Switzerland for that particular reason, just for the chocolate vacation, the chocolate
like
slam.
Willy Wonka. Like the whole place is like Willy Wonka. You just go and dip your toe in the water. It's chocolate.
Yeah. There's like a big river going through, and it's just a chocolate river. And I've always wanted to try Belgium chocolate too, because I've heard that's a big thing as well. God damn. Wow. Why is that guy like 20,000 times sexier with that chocolate? Like everything about that picture is insane. I'm not gay, but I would suck some dick here. Listening to the crack, dude. What is? Yeah,
these are beautiful pictures I've ever seen, and it's like
they really are.
Chocolate. What is going on?
Yeah, what is happening here?
I feel things.
Jesus Christ! It's like they got the greatest chocolate makers together with the greatest photographer in the history of picture, and just
glowing.
Boom.
His eyes. I see his soul.
See, and what's funnier here is it's like, oh yeah, this is zero Photoshop.
Right?
They have zero editing. They just took the picture and threw it up.
These are the best looking pictures in the history of pictures.
What's funny is I bet none of these guys they have anything to do with chocolate.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure that's how they put the peacocks on the top of the thing. Tweezer one by one. Yeah. Yeah,
the tweezer. That's not even a tweezer. It's like two forks that are like fucking glued together. They're definitely Craigslist actors.
I didn't even know it.
Yep, that sounds like chocolate. Wow. That guy's face looks like he has it's like, I don't know, it's so smooth. It's like it's like he's made out of chocolate. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually chocolate holding chocolate.
It looks like a Pixar video, or like a Pixar animation. Like he doesn't look real, but like he looks real.
Yeah, for some reason it reminds me of the Polar Express. Like these guys are in the Polar Express. I'm getting that Polar Express feeling of this.
Yeah, I see that.
Like they're gonna start singing. They're all gonna break out in a line and just start.